It was the summer of my early 20s, back when Toronto felt like a sprawling, indifferent beast of a city, endless streets lined with aging brick buildings that whispered secrets from decades past. I'd just graduated from university, scraping by on freelance gigs and odd jobs, when I stumbled upon this listing for a 2-bedroom apartment in a 3-story walk-up in the Annex neighborhood. The place was a relic probably built in the early 1900s with creaky wooden floors that groaned underfoot like they were protesting every step, and walls so thin you could hear the neighbors' arguments as if they were in the room with you. The rent was dirt cheap for Toronto standards, with $200 a month split between 2 people, which should have been my first red flag. But hey, I was young, broke, and desperate. My roommate, Mike, was a guy I'd met through a mutual friend, lanky, perpetually stoned, with a laugh that could cut through tension like a knife. We signed the lease without a second thought, hauling our beat-up furniture up those narrow, twisting stairs that seemed designed to break ankles. The apartment itself was a quirky mess. The living room had this massive bay window overlooking a dingy alley where stray cats fought over garbage bins at night. The kitchen was tiny, with a fridge that hummed like a dying animal, and cabinets that stuck no matter how hard you yanked. Our bedrooms were at the back, separated by a single wall that might as well have been paper. Mine had a slanted ceiling from the roofline, making it feel claustrophobic, like the building was slowly caving in on itself. Mike's was a bit bigger, with a closet that smelled faintly of mothballs. The bathroom was sandwiched between them, old porcelain fixtures, a clawfoot tub that looked like it hadn't been scrubbed since the war, and a mirror speckled with age spots. We joked about it being vintage charm, but deep down, there was something off about the place from day one. The air felt heavy, like it was holding its breath, waiting for something. We moved in on a sweltering July afternoon, sweat soaking through our shirts as we lugged boxes. That first night, we cracked open some beers, ordered pizza, and crashed early, exhausted. I slept like the dead, or so I thought. The next morning, Mike shuffled into the kitchen while I was brewing coffee, his eyes bloodshot and accusatory. "Dude, what the hell was that last night?" he grumbled, rubbing his temples. "You banging on the wall like a maniac and pacing back and forth across the apartment? I thought you were having a meltdown or something." I stared at him, mug halfway to my lips. "What?" "I didn't do anything. I passed out as soon as my head hit the pillow. Must have been dreaming, man." He shook his head, pouring himself a bowl of cereal. "Nah, it was real. Started around midnight, thump, thump, thump on the wall. Then these heavy footsteps creaking across the floor. Back and forth, like someone couldn't decide where to go. Freaked me out." We laughed it off, blaming the thin walls or the upstairs neighbors who we hadn't met yet. Toronto apartments were like that. Sounds bled through from everywhere. Maybe it was the building settling, or the wind rattling old pipes. We agreed it was nothing and went about our day. But that night, as I lay in bed staring at the cracks in the ceiling, I couldn't shake a nagging unease. The apartment felt watchful, like eyes were on me from the shadows. It happened again the next night. Mike confronted me in the morning, more annoyed this time. "Seriously, cut it out, I need sleep for work." Again, I swore it wasn't me. I'd been dead to the world. We inspected the wall between our rooms. Solid plaster, no loose panels, no explanation. But it kept happening, night after night. The banging would start soft, almost tentative, like knuckles rapping politely, then build to these violent thuds that shook the pictures on the walls. And the pacing, deliberate, heavy steps that echoed through the floorboards, crossing from one end of the apartment to the other. Mike started sleeping with earplugs, but I could see the bags under his eyes deepening. We'd joke about it during the day. Maybe it's the ghost of the last tenant, pissed we didn't leave milk out. But at night, alone in our rooms, the humor evaporated. Then came the smell. It started about a week in, subtle at first, but unmistakable. I'd be lying in bed, scrolling on my phone, when this wave of dread would crash over me. Not fear exactly, more like a primal foreboding, a certainty that something awful was about to happen. My heart would pound, skin prickling with goose flesh, even on warm nights. And then it would hit, the cloying stench of cheap women's perfume, floral and overpowering, like something from a discount drugstore counter, but twisted, corrupted, mixed with a damp, musty rot that clawed at your nostrils. Imagine an elderly woman's wardrobe, forgotten in a flooded basement, her threadbare dresses soaking up mildew and decay. Now add the acrid tang of a litter box overflowing with weeks-old cat urine, the ammonia biting sharp enough to make your eyes water. It wasn't just a smell, it was an assault, thick and invasive, seeping into every corner of my bedroom. The first time I bolted upright, gagging, fumbling for the light. I checked under the bed, in the closet. Nothing. Opened the window, but the night air outside was fresh, crisp. The smell lingered inside, defiant. It would fade after a few minutes, leaving me shaken, the foreboding echoing in my chest like a bad dream. I mentioned it to Mike the next day, but he shrugged it off. Old building, man. Probably mold in the walls or something leaking from upstairs. But it kept coming back, always preceded by that gut-wrenching dread. I'd feel it building, a pressure in my skull, and brace myself. Sometimes it happened in the evening while I was reading. Other times it jolted me awake at 3 a.m. Each time the smell seemed stronger, more personal, like it was targeting me specifically. Mike and I muddled through those first months, our friendship straining under the weirdness. We'd blast music to drown out the nightly disturbances, share joints on the fire escape to unwind. But the apartment was wearing on us. The banging and pacing became ritualistic, starting precisely at midnight, ending around dawn. I'd lie there, listening, heart racing, convincing myself it was just the building's quirks. Until one night, I heard it from my side. Thumps against the wall, so close it vibrated my bed frame. Footsteps pacing the living room, slow and deliberate, as if whoever or whatever was searching for something lost. By month 4, Mike had had enough. He announced he was bailing, some vague excuse about a job offer in Vancouver, but I knew it was the apartment. "This place is cursed, dude," he muttered while packing his boxes. "I can't take the noises anymore. Feels like we're not alone here." He left me with the full rent on a 1-year lease. $200 a month I could barely afford. I posted ads for a new roommate, but in the meantime I was alone. The apartment felt bigger, emptier, and infinitely more hostile. Desperate for a change, I decided to switch bedrooms. Maybe Mike's room would be quieter, free from whatever plagued mine. I dragged my mattress across the hall, set up my stuff, and crashed that first night, hoping for peace. Instead, I plunged into the most vivid nightmare of my life. It started innocently enough. I dreamed I was in the bathroom, the dim overhead bulb flickering like a dying firefly. The air was thick, humid, the mirror fogged at the edges. But as I stared into it, the glass cracked, shattered, with a sound like thunder. Shards rained down, glittering in the low light. My reflection stared back, distorted, eyes hollow and accusing. Without warning, my hand, my own hand, reached down, picked up a jagged shard the size of a dagger. The glass bit into my palm, blood welling up, but I couldn't stop. I brought it to my face, pressing the edge against my cheek. The pain was excruciating, real, skin splitting, warm blood trickling down. I carved slowly, methodically, watching in the broken mirror as my face transformed into a gruesome mask, flesh peeling away in ribbons. My eyes locked on my reflections, pleading, but the hand kept going, deeper, exposing bone and sinew. The bathroom spun, the walls closing in, and I screamed. But no sound came out. I woke drenched in sweat, thrashing in the sheets, my face intact but stinging with phantom pain. The room was pitch black, the apartment silent. But that dream lingered, vivid as a memory, replaying in my mind every time I closed my eyes. What the hell was that? I'd never had nightmares like that, gory, self-destructive. It felt like a warning, or worse, a glimpse into something that had happened here before. Being alone amplified everything. The banging started in my new room too, louder, more insistent, like fists pounding in rage. And now, new sounds joined the chorus. The toilet flushing repeatedly in the dead of night, whooshing water echoing through the pipes. I'd stumble out of bed, half asleep, to check, handle untouched, bowl empty. But the flushes continued, sometimes for hours, as if someone was obsessively pulling the chain. Then the bathtub incidents began. The first time I was jolted awake around 1 a.m. by the roar of water. Hot water, full blast, steam billowing from under the bathroom door. I rushed in, scalding my hand on the faucet as I twisted it off. The tub was half full, water swirling down the drain. No one there. It happened again 2 nights later. Same time, same scorching torrent. I'd stand there in the steam-filled room, heart hammering, staring at the empty tub, feeling eyes on my back. The third time I heard whispers mixed with the rush, faint garbled words like a woman's voice murmuring through the pipes. I couldn't make them out, but they sounded desperate, pleading. The smell followed me to the new room, stronger now, invading my dreams. That foreboding hit like a sledgehammer, nausea rising, a chill settling in my bones. Then the perfume-wrought assault, clinging to my clothes, my skin. I'd light candles, spray air freshener, but nothing masked it. Once, I traced it to the closet. Opening the door unleashed a cloud so thick I retched, slamming it shut. Inside, the walls felt damp, slimy, though they looked dry. Isolation bred paranoia. I'd catch movements in my peripheral vision, shadows flitting across the hallway, gone when I turned. Doors creaked open on their own, cabinets banged shut. The pacing footsteps evolved. Now they stopped outside my door, lingering, as if listening. I'd freeze under the covers, breath held, waiting for the knob to turn. But the pinnacle of terror came one frigid October night, weeks before I finally fled. I'd collapsed into bed early, exhausted from double shifts to cover rent. Around 2 a.m., the apartment erupted in chaos. The TV in the living room blared to life at maximum volume, static crackling before settling on a channel. I bolted upright, disoriented, heart in my throat. Stumbling out, I found the old analog set, knob-operated, no remote, glowing in the dark, tuned to city TV. They always ran late-night movies back then, schlocky B-flicks to fill the airwaves. But this? Poltergeist. The scene where the little girl is sucked into the TV, ghostly hands reaching out, static hissing like a serpent. The volume was deafening, dialogue echoing off the walls. They're here. I lunged for the knob, twisting it frantically, but it wouldn't budge at first, like an invisible hand held it. Finally, it clicked off, plunging the room into silence. My hand shook, sweat beaded on my forehead despite the chill. The TV had turned on by itself, pulled the power knob out, dialed to that channel, cranked the volume, and of all movies, Poltergeist? The irony was cruel, mocking. I unplugged it, dragged it to the curb the next day, but the damage was done. That night sealed it. This place wasn't just haunted, it was malevolent, toying with me. I sublet to a clueless student and bolted before the lease ended, crashing on friends' couches. Years later, I drove by. The building still stands, windows dark like empty eyes. I wonder if the next tenants felt it, the banging, the smell, the dread, or if it waits, patient, for someone alone and vulnerable.